do we have here?
You want me to explain the legal term?
Okay.
Unorthodox taxidermy.
Unorthodox taxidermy.
Exactly. Dr. Seuss.
They're really neat, okay? They really are.
Thank you.
And this is?
Goo-goo-eyed Tasmanian woolgast.
Okay.
This is a sawfish.
I think it'd be really hard for him to swim, though.
Today I brought into the pawn shop my Dr. Seuss Unorthodox taxidermy. I got the two sculptures at a gallery in Coronado, California. My husband would bring home one at a time to save for our retirement. I want to sell these today because I want to have the money to go on a dude ranch next summer in Montana.
I really like him. This is the mind of Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss is a huge part of American culture. He really is. I mean, he changed the way children's books were done, the way children read, and he turned the whole Dr. Seuss thing into a really big business. There was tons of cartoons, tons of books, tons of merchandising, and he came up with that whole bizarro Dr. Seuss style that I grew up with and my kids grew up with, and I even made my kids green eggs and ham. You don't use old eggs, you just put a bell pepper in the blender with the eggs.
Okay, that's how you do it. You don't use food coloring.
Dr. Seuss is one of the biggest names in children's literature. It's actually pretty hard to believe that his first book was rejected by over 24 publishers. Because today, he has published over 40 books and sold over 500 million copies. That's a lot of green eggs and ham, said Sam. So how much are you looking to get out of these?
A total of $6,000, $2,700 for this, $3,300 for this.
Okay, I have no idea. Can I call someone and take a look at them?
Sure, that'd be fine.
I'm gonna go give someone a call.
Okay, thanks. I'm glad he's calling in an expert because I'm very confident that these two pieces are worth the money that I'm asking for.
These are great.
This is Theodore I can't pronounce it right.
Theodore Seuss Geisel.
Dr. Seuss.
Of course, he was a doctor the same way Dr. Dre's a doctor.
Okay.
But a very, very creative man. These are really interesting. These were originally sculpted by Dr. Seuss in the mid-30s. Originally, these horns and the sawfish bill would have actually been from an animal. His father was the superintendent of the Forest Park Zoo in Springfield, Massachusetts. So he would give Dr. Seuss the horns and the bills as the animals molted or when they died of, natural causes. And then he would incorporate those pieces into these sculptures.
So that's why he calls them unorthodox taxidermy.
Yeah. He was actually named by Look magazine right after he created these as the preeminent authority on unheard of animals.
Okay.
These sculptures are all hand molded by commissioned artists by the Dr. Seuss group. After that, they're cast in resin and then approved by the publisher, Dr. Seuss.
Okay, what are they worth?
Dr. Seuss's work, I'm sure as you know, is extremely collectible. So I would put this one $3,300 to $3,500.
Okay.
And I would put this one about, I'd put it right around $2,500. So together, I'd say they're worth about $6,000.
Okay.
They're really great. You kept wonderful care of them.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, man.
Appreciate it.
I told you he knows what he's talking about.
This is a very good buy for the shop. Dr. Seuss work is extremely easy to sell. Everyone knows Dr. Seuss, and most people have some kind of a significant connection to him.
What is the best price you'll take for these?
Well, I know you need to make a profit.
Okay.
So the minimum I could take would be $4,500.
No. I'll give you $3,500.
$3,850.
No, I mean, really, $3,500 is all of it. I mean, I have expenses, $3,500 is it.
$3,500, I will take it.
Okay, well, thanks.
Thank you.
Chum is gonna love this. I got an employee who's gonna die for this. Okay.
Thanks. I got $3,500 I'm putting to good use. I'm going to a dude ranch because of Dr. Seuss.
How you doing today?
Hey, what's up?
I got something I think is very valuable. Why don't you take a look at it? That's a whale's tooth.
It's part of a whale's tooth.
Well, it looks like it's worth a lot of money to you now. I decided to come into the pawn shop today to sell this whale's tooth that I bought. I paid $100 for this tooth. My wife is sure that I paid too much money for it. For all the guys out there, I'm trying to prove my wife wrong for once in my life. She said, don't buy it. I bought it, and I think it's worth some money.
This is called Scrimshaw, and what it is it's an art form they used on the ship. What sailors did is when they had a little downtime, they would take the whale's teeth and they would carve things on it.
Okay.
This right here says the ship Midas, which is probably the whaling ship they were on.
Whaling voyages could last for years at a time. Just imagine being out in the middle of nowhere for that long. So engraving whale's teeth is something they would do to pass the time.
It's a real whale's tooth, I can tell you that.
Okay.
The thing is, there's a lot of fakes of these. It's sort of an odd fake, okay? They actually take a real whale's tooth and they engrave these scenes on them. And then they date them from like the 1800s like this and take $100 worth of whale's teeth and turn it into $1,500 antique.
Okay.
Like I said, the only thing I can tell you for sure is it's whale's tooth. I just don't know how to authenticate the art.
Okay, all right.
All right? I really just want someone to look at it. I have a friend who knows about this kind of stuff.
Okay.
So let me call him up and I'll give you a call when he gets here.
Okay, appreciate that. Okay, you give him a call.
Well, this is what I called you about.
I'm owner of West Sea Company. We deal in nautical antiques. I am really passionate about nautical antiques because they've been all over the world. The history is just fascinating. And what are your concerns about it, Rick?
I don't know if someone had a scrap piece of whale's tooth and they engraved all this on there, or if it's actually 1824.
What this looks like to me is what's called a logbook stamp. It was used on whaling ships, and every day the mate or the captain would keep a record of what the ship did. They would stamp the fact that they caught a whale, and then they would write the number of barrels of oil that the whale rendered. Then on the other end, you see that? That's the tail of a whale, or what's called the flukes. And if they lost a whale, and that would indicate that the whale was lost. Today, a whale book stamp is very collectible. It is the real thing, because very few of them have survived, and those that are around are precious. The color is right. There's no doubt in my mind that it is whale's tooth. This is wood carved. It's been used. You can see it's stained with the ink on both ends, and it's even identified ship Midas, and what's even greater is it's dated 1824. If it's 1824, it's the earliest American whaling item with a date and ship's name that I've ever seen.
Well, that makes it valuable, right?
If this is the real McCoy, I think you're looking at least $5,000.
Oh, well, now we're talking.
But not so fast.
Uh-oh.
There are some concerns here. I'm not so sure that this engraving is period. Somebody could have taken this, a real object, and after the fact, added these embellishments, thinking that they were going to increase the value, but in fact, they might have decreased the value.
Oh, yeah.
One of the concerns I have is that you can see it's cross-hatched here. When they did etching and engraving, they would do small, fine parallel lines. And it looks to me like these spine lines here are fractured. And that would indicate to me that it wasn't done when the tooth was taken, but it was done after the fact. Based on what I see here, I do not think that this engraving is period to the tooth. It's certainly not 1824.
It's not worth anything then, huh?
No. You're in good shape here. This is a real logbook stamp. And minus the engraving, you're still looking at $1,000, $1,500.
Yeah, now we're talking. That's what I like. I like this guy. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Rod. I really appreciate it.
My
As
pleasure.
always, man. So what do you want for the thing?
Well, I think I'll settle for $1,000 if you wouldn't mind.
Well, that's not going to happen. I'd like to pay like $500.
Oh, 500. I mean, $700. I mean, I think that's a reasonable price for everything that's said. So if I can get $700, I'd be happy. $700.
All right, $700.
All right. Good deal.
Let's go do some paperwork.
Okay. You $700 cash money for something I paid $100 for? That's a good profit to me. I'm really, really happy. I'm feeling good.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, good. How you doing today, man? I brought in a cow collar.
Okay.
that was owned by President Dwight D. Eisenhower.
So this was owned by Eisenhower.
Yes,
And obviously the cow wore it, not him, right?
that's correct. Yeah. I came to the pawn shop today to try to sell my cow collar that was owned by President Dwight D. Eisenhower. It was given to him by the press corps. I'm hoping to get $3,500, but I might go to $2,500.
Put it right here. Presented to President Dwight D. Eisenhower by these correspondents. All right. Seriously, how did you get Eisenhower's cow's necklace?
Well, I'm in the business of buying antiques and collectibles, and a gentleman sold this to me.
All right. Everybody liked Ike. I mean, he not only served 2 terms as the commander-in-chief, he was also the 5-star general that engineered the D-Day invasion. But I can honestly say this is one of the weirder items that has come into the shop lately. I'm intrigued. I know Eisenhower was like a gentleman farmer, and he had show cattle. When he brought the cattle to different shows, he never put it under his name because being president of the United States might give him a little bit of an advantage. So, where in the world did you get this?
This came from the person that sold it to me, and he obtained it from the Eisenhower Museum.
Presented to President Eisenhower on his birthday, October 14th, 1954, by the men who covered the Denver White House. Unquote. The question is how much do you want?
Well, I'd like 3,500 or 2 ounces of gold.
It's just weird.
Half the stuff in your store here is weird.
Yeah, I know, and a lot of that stuff is so weird it doesn't sell. I'm afraid everyone's gonna walk in here and they go, God, that is cool. And they just turn around and walk away.
That's what they do in museums.
Well, this ain't a museum. I'm here to make money.
It was presidentially owned by Eisenhower. Eisenhower actually touched this piece, held it in his hands. It's priceless.
I'll give you $1,000.
Man, I can't do that.
Well, what can you do?
$3,250.
I'll go like $1,000 on it. That's about it.
You're killing me, man.
I'm not killing you. I'm just making you an offer.
I've got more than that in it.
I'm gonna pass. It's a presidential item, but it's just a little too obscure and weird to make money on. Have a good one.
Well, all right, dude.
All right, thanks for coming in, man.
I paid $1,500 for this piece, hoping to make a good profit off of it. Yeah, we weren't able to make a deal today, so I'm probably gonna try it and sell it online.
How you doing?
Oh, okay.
What do you got here?
I've got a phenomenal opportunity here.
Guaranteed genuine rotted elephant manure.
What you got here, Chumley?
A can of elephant dung.
Okay.
Decided to come down to the pawn shop today to sell my can of Zudu. It's got some elephant dung in it. I'd like to start at maybe $10,000, but I'd take $5 for it.
How'd you get it?
The local auction company.
Washington Park Zoo, Zudu. Elephant auxiliary, natural's most potent fertilizer.
It was sold probably to help reduce the amount of dung that they had laying around. It's in there. I mean, you can hear it. They canned this stuff, I think, as a novelty item.
Normally, when they make novelty items, they make a whole bunch of them. I know there's a sucker born every minute, but if this guy is trying to sell canned manure, he's barking up the wrong tree.
How much you looking to get for it?
Like $10,000.
Well, you can keep thinking, son.
I think this is a home run. There's no end to how much this is worth.
It's gotta be worth 20 bucks, boss.
Then it's going to come out of your pay.
I know the old man would never spend a penny on this, but I think I can have some fun with it. I'm gonna offer you 20 bucks for it. And I think you should get out while you can get something for it.
Okay,
Sold.
thanks.
Go write him up, boss.
You write him up.
The fact that I paid $750 for this and got 20 for it, if I could make that kind of money on any of my other investments, I'd be pretty good.
What do you have here?
I have a 1920s chicken incubator from the Buckeye Incubator Company.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So, how did you come about this?
I'm an estate liquidator, so I have clients all over the country, and one of our clients found this buried under some hay in an old barn.
So you thought, hey, I'll give it a shot.
Pretty much. This was an old kerosene-fueled chicken incubator. I've never been a farmer, so I'm not entirely sure how this thing works. I'd like to get $550 for it, but I'd be willing to take between $250 and $300.
It is pretty cool. Mind if I open it up?
Go right ahead.
I know incubators have been around since the 1700s. The Egyptians had an incubator. It was basically just a large heated room, and there would be people turning the eggs, manually rotating the eggs,
Sounds like a painful job.
Yeah, just going in there, rotating the eggs every so often. And then the incubator evolved around the late 1800s to take in, like, infant babies that were malnutrition, too small. So this is pretty cool to see one 100 years old.
Yeah.
If there's one thing I know a lot about, it's chicken. What did you want to do with it?
I'd like to sell it.
Okay, how much are you looking for?
I'd like $550.
It's not gonna happen. I'll give you $75 for it. I just don't see a large market of incubator collectors.
Everybody loves chickens. They
see
are
them.
all over right now. They're all the rage. Could you do $300?
$3? I mean, I'll bump it up a little bit and go 100.
They come down to 200.
I really don't want to go over 100.
All right, well, then I guess I'll just have to take it home.
All right, well, I'm sure you'll bring some more stuff in for me to see.
Thanks for doing it.
Thank you. Let me ask someone to help you take this out.
Thank you. I wouldn't budge because my client wants a little bit more for it, and I know that with, right marketing and whatnot, I can sell it for a lot more than that.
What do we have here?
A taxidermy fruit bat. I got this bat from my grandma's closet. It was my father's. I don't want it in my house any longer. I would like about $150, the minimum, $100. It's in great condition.
Tell me everything you can about it.
I did call a taxidermy, and he said that fruit bats are very smart, and they're one of the few species that can see.
If it's a fruit bat, yeah, they do have better sight than most, but, all bats can see. People really choose not to believe that for some reason.
Right.
They just have really bad eyes, and they're around at night, so they use the whole sonar thing. But they're not vicious, horrible creatures.
Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah, I think it speaks worse for Ozzy Osbourne, biting a head off a bat than it actually does the bat. He had to have like 30-something shots in his stomach over that for rabies or...
That was, wow.
This is definitely a unique item, but there are lots of people that come in here looking for unique stuff. The taxidermy was decent on it. It's not something you really see taxidermied all that often. What are you looking to do with it?
I want to sell it. I have a 7-year-old and a 10-year-old, and they don't want it in the house.
So if you don't sell this thing, you're kind of going to be a bad mom?
Yes.
What do you want for it?
150?
I'll give you $100 for it.
Okay.
Deal?
Sounds great.
All right, I'll meet you right over there.
Okay. I'm glad I got $100 for it. I can take it and go shopping.